Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Chaos, and I wanted to talk about some gaming habits that I think kind of need to go away. So, I obviously have you guys seeing I have some Dead by Daylight playing. I couldn't this was kind of a spur of the moment thing, so I didn't really get a bunch of different game clips or anything for you guys. But hope you guys enjoy this while I talk about it. So I have a couple things I wanted to talk about because I've noticed in gaming, and Dead by Daylight's one of them, also like For Honor's another, just any game kind of has some of these problems to them, and I don't, this is not financial wise, because like obviously everybody can agree that microtransactions are annoying. But I'm more talking about how people kind of play and perceive the game. So my first point I want to talk about is gatekeeping. So if you guys don't know what the gatekeeping thing is, this is essentially, from what I know of it and what I kind of refer to as gatekeeping, is telling somebody that because I don't like this character or I don't like this play style, that you can't do it. And this is kind of going to go hand in hand with rule number 2, but I'll get to there when I get there. But so a lot of people, Dead by Daylight, For Honor, any of these character-based games, right? You can talk about Tekken, Soul Cal, any of these games, right? Well, the issue with gatekeeping is there's a lot of people that sit here and they will play a character, right, that they personally find fun, but a lot of other people find annoying, right? Well, there's this weird thing that people do where it's like, oh, well, my character's annoying and I'm allowed to play it, but because your character's annoying and I don't like it, you shouldn't be playing it. And I've had this happen before in custom games and For Honor. I've had it before in Dead by Daylight, where because I'm a doctor main and people hate the doctor. Like, it's fine to not like a character, but to sit there and tell somebody you shouldn't be playing something because I don't like it is, first of all, wrong to do to somebody, because they, just like you, had bought the game, so they have all rights to do so. But at the same time, it kind of makes you look more like, and usually these people usually think they're, the cream of the crop, right? They think they're the best player out there. Like, I may get frustrated when I have to fight certain characters, but play whoever you want. And that's how it should be, because if you are playing a character that I don't like, all that's going to do is make me better at fighting that character that I don't like. And that just makes the character eventually be not a character I don't like, it's that I have no kind of issue with. Good example is Hitokiri. Hitokiri, I used to hate Hitokiri. I used to hate Hitokiri with a passion. But now that I actually have fought enough Hitos and stuff, I don't care anymore. I actually think Hito's garbage. And this is, it's a problem I've noticed in the gaming community because it's gotten worse. Like, it even gets to the point where people will try to play a custom game and they will start attacking each other based on who they played just because somebody doesn't like them. And it's honestly, all I really have to say is it's very pathetic to be seeing people do that, because usually these are full-grown men and women that are doing this. Like, kids, let's be honest, kids are going to be kids, they're going to bitch about stuff. But when you've got a full-grown man raging over a character in a video game, that is the saddest thing I think I can ever, see. Like, I get it if somebody's cheating or whatever, but that's not applying here, because I'm talking about base game. Like, you should not be sitting there hard pissed off, unless you have a bad day. If you got a bad day, everybody has one of those. But a lot of these people, it's not a bad day, it's the game is bad, and this character's broken, when it's more that the character's not broken, they just don't know how to play against that character. So for number 2 is, I want to talk about the community rules. These I hate. And the reason why I hate community rules is because, essentially, if you don't know what a community rule is, this is essentially where the community makes up this bullcrap rule, right? A good example is Dead by Daylight, no tunneling. For Honor, you can't play Hyper Armor, you can't play this character, you can't play a full guard, whatever it is, there's all these different things that people have. Like, one of the biggest ones in For Honor is thou shalt not ledge, which, anybody knows me, I definitely don't follow that one. But it's the thing of, like, these unwritten rules and stuff honestly don't make the game better. And they really don't. So if you think about it, if I walk up to you, right, and let's say, you know, because I'm going to compare gaming to you, you know, you're at work, right? You're working and you're doing something your way, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not against, you know, your employer's not against it, so it's like not against the rules. It's not, you know, it's not considered cheating or bannable or anything. But because people have decided that you shouldn't be able to do that, that now they get to essentially, you know, treat you like crap. So in a job, imagine if you're flipping burgers or something, and you're able to, like, you're flipping burgers like really quick, crazy. You're using 2 spatulas, and there's this one guy over here just using this 1 spatula, and he's very slow. And he goes, "Hey, I don't like that you're doing that because, you know, you're really good at it, and I don't think you should be that good at it." Because that's how I look at it. Like, community rules are just a way to balance a game to the way that somebody that is bad at the game and does not want to mold their own play style, like, that's exactly what it does. Because all you're doing by telling somebody you cannot play like this is literally saying, because I am not good enough at the game, you shouldn't be able to play the way that I can't counter. Instead of, man, you're really good at that. How can I learn to counter that? Because you know how many, you know, there's a lot of people that be willing to teach somebody how to counter their own play style. And, like, I've done it before. I've had many people fight against me, and it went from me stomping people to after they learn how I fight, they're like, oh, hey, he's not that bad. It's not that bad to fight him. And that's the problem, is that nobody wants to learn. They want instant changes to how they play. And that is just such a, I don't know, like, simple, like, I think it's selfish, actually, not simple. It's a very selfish mindset, because what you're doing is just telling people, I'm not good enough to adapt, and that's all you're doing. So, yeah, those 2 rules are 2 big ones, and then the third one is kinda, I'm just really tired of this whole, you know, balance complaining thing. Now, mind you, I did a For Honor rebalanced. There's things I don't like about a character. And there's things I find very annoying that obviously everybody complains about. But when it comes to balance a lot of the time, now mind you, when I did my For Honor rebalanced, I'm not gonna lie, it was not easy, because instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna change everything to how I want it, I wanted to change characters where I could buff and nerf them without taking away what the character was. And it was to be, like, it was to be truthful to how somebody would look at buffs and nerfs. Like, now, was everything perfect? Of course not. Of course not. There's some of those that are broken. I guarantee the Shigoki buffs would probably have made him busted, but it was just something fun that I wanted to put on there, like, for him. But when I look at all the people complaining about balance, you'll see, like, a good example is, like, with me thinking Hito is terrible, there's other people that think Hito is cream of the crop, like, top tier, and it's like, no. It's, like, maybe at lower skill levels, but, like, and I know some people don't like this because there are people that sit here and they complain about the casuals. Mind you, every game needs casuals, and I get that casuals do not like the competitive way of, you know, min-maxing a character because it frustrates them because they don't have the time to learn it, which is fair to get frustrated. You come home from work, you're beat, and you're coming against, you know, me that, you know, I sit here and make videos on the internet, like, and I, you know, you're, like, I play the game, I've been playing the game since, you know, for years. So, like, now you're facing somebody that is going to rip away that fun because now you have to actually try. And you're going to have to try harder because since I'm so used to the game, I don't have to try as hard because it becomes naturally to me. So, like, the balancing thing is a very hard to argue point because it is true with many people that, like, some characters are very oppressive and hard to fight, but it's not always that way. Usually it's that somebody's overlooking something. And I can always use, you know, For Honor as examples for a million times. But, like, a good example is, you know, you can play against a Doctor main in Dead by Daylight, and they can be shocking you all day. But while that may be annoying, if you're playing the game correctly, and that Doctor is not, at the end of the day, that Doctor usually loses. Unless somebody was being an idiot. And mind you, that happens, but there's no reason for toxicity against somebody that something that somebody plays, because it's part of the game. And that's the thing I kind of am getting irritated about, is that people in, you know, that are playing games now, are they like, well, I paid $60, so I should have every little say so. No, you paid $60 to play the game. You didn't pay $60 to balance the game. Because I'll be honest with you, if anybody listened to half the people's balancing, even my own, I'm not, you know, if anybody listened to my balancing, I'm pretty sure For Honor and Dead by Daylight would probably go to shit. But I at least put my 2 cents in just as a suggestion, instead of being some overly toxic jerk that is telling people, man, you shouldn't play Springtrap, you shouldn't play Hito, you shouldn't play Pirate. It's like, yes, I hate Pirate. I don't like fighting Pirate, but I don't think the character should be removed from the game. I don't think people should get hate for playing a character they enjoy, because that's not fair on them. They got the game to play that character. They got that character so they could play them. And if I tell somebody, you shouldn't be able to play this character because of X, Y, and Z, then at the same time, I am being pretty much a hypocrite when somebody says that, you know, gets mad at me, and I go, well, I'm playing who I want to play. It's like, and a lot of people do this. It's always this weird mix-mash thing of, like, this double standard in gaming, and it's tiring, because it ruins multiplayer games. And I hope you guys, you know, understand this. If you're somebody that's listening to this, and you are actually somebody that does this, like, I would recommend kind of taking a step back from video games. Maybe not entirely. Like, if you like it playing video games, go to a single-player game. But you need to mold your, you know, your multiplayer mentality. And the reason why I say this is because you can sit there all day and scream into the void, and all it does is frustrate other people, because they're hearing constant complaints about something that they enjoy. And look, if it's constructive criticism, again, that is fine. Constructive criticism is always, always welcome. But most of the time, these are not constructive criticism. It is usually people sitting here bitching because they can't beat something, so it must be nerfed. Again, certain points are valid, because there are times where a character needs nerf. Like, it's only fair that a character will need a nerf, but the difference is that every time people call for a nerf, usually they want to neuter a character and make it completely unplayable, because they don't ever want to see that character again. And, you know I'm ranting a little bit, but I didn't have a script for this. I just kind of wanted to talk about this, because it's made gaming, honestly, like, it's why I've went to more retro games over playing For Honor, because whether I go into custom games or I'm playing with people, there's always something somebody is complaining about. And even in my own chat, I had somebody that we played a custom game, right? And one guy was playing Pirate, I think. Or I don't remember who he was playing, but we've had one where somebody was playing Pirate and somebody got mad and didn't want to play the game anymore because they absolutely hate Pirate to that extent. And then there was another instance where, because of where people are in their connection, they were like, well, you know, he's lag switching. He wasn't. It was just natural lag. So it just... I don't like all the complaining, because the more people complain in video games, the worse video games become, because video games have always been this game, you know, this thing for me where I'm supposed to sit here and enjoy playing games with people. And how can I enjoy it when every time I go to play a character I enjoy, I'm such a bad person for what I play. And mind you, I don't actually listen to what people say. If you want to bitch about my character, do it all day. I find it hilarious because I know at the end of the day, it's because you can't beat my character. So,
Do you feel that?
like, I really don't have much else to say. I kind of was ranting a little bit. Also, I was trying to, you know, fill in time so I could show you guys the whole match too right here. But it just... It frustrates me because we don't need this toxicity. We don't need all this whining and complaining in gaming. It's honestly ruining gaming at times. And I can tell you, for probably casuals, it's probably, ruining it the worst. But for competitive people, they're probably just going on the next game and bitching anyway, which, mind you, if you're not getting paid, I don't know why you're, so angry, so. But, yeah, that's all I really have to say, guys. Apologies for the rant. I hope you guys enjoyed the little, the spring trap video I had done, but yeah, tell me what you guys think in the, comments below. Is there anything else that you guys don't like that you think in gaming needs to change and all that? If you guys do, please, I would love to, talk about it in the comments. Be respectful. Don't be a little crybaby and, because you got called out for something you do. I love you guys. Thank you guys for your support. I hope you guys have a good night, and God bless.